So, back on the control arms. Okay, so I think I put this up on Ratson or something. May not be in a video anywhere. Anyway, this is the CAD art that I've created at this point, you know, for that plate. So, to get started on manually, we're going to manually fabricate this. I want to, these will get laser cut later. I'm just going to knock some of the, so this is, you know, back to romper room time and how to cut along the line. So basically I'm just going to cut this out by hand, and then we'll go find a piece of, I'm thinking I might do it in 1/4 inch, just because it'll be that much easier and lighter to deal with and work with for now. It will get laser cut in 3/8 later, so I do it in aluminum, but I can't, to make it easier, but I can't attach it to the tubes and stuff. So let me finish getting this cut out, and well, I got it cut out there, and I started to, I was getting ready to go hole punch these, and then it dawned on me I need a point there for drilling. So I should have put a center mark in there in CAD. Okay, but I'm gonna fake it here for now. This is a prototype. Basically, I got a long way to go to prove whether or not this shape works. Okay, so I do have to cut out the center hole. Actually, I don't. I need to I need to find center on that thing too. Maybe I will go regenerate this in CAD with some center marks, because when I do the hole saw, it will be a whole lot easier with a center mark. So I got it cut out. I ended up, I was going to go redo it on CAD, but since I'm processing a video right now, the computer's way too taxed. So anyway, I just did some measuring and that stuff, found center of that. That'll be close enough for what we're doing. Here's the thing though, I want to get this fairly close over the bolt holes and that stuff to get a idea of the angle there and that stuff. So then these are the ones that I cut before, thinking, hey, you know, it's pretty close. And I can see from looking down at it now that either the angle's going to have to get adjusted, okay, which is possible. The plate, the CAD work, is going to have to get adjusted. Now, it would 6 1/2 does the other, but anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna probably cut a little big on the plate, and that'll give me room to tweak. Okay, so I'm just going to get the generic shape down, and then over here, that looks like it lines up a lot better on parallel. So then it'll be a matter of, I can cut this side of the plate and adjust the tube notch, the angle of that. But this, if I get it parallel, it needs to be shifted in, which should probably work anyway, or the angle needs to be adjusted. 6 1/2 dozen of the other. So go find some plate, start working on it. So I've got it just held down there with a couple little those little tiny strong magnets. I'm going to take a spring punch here, and I'm going to mark the center of each hole here before I forget about it, before it moves. And I'm probably going to oversize these holes just a little bit. This is only a in-between piece, because I want the final one in 3/8, but I know I'm going to have to make it again and make modifications, so there's no point in me fighting with doing anything too critical with this one. So I'm using an old Sharpie with a big, nice, fat tip on it, and I can just trace around it, or you know, we get down to some of these tighter ones where it's harder to hold the paper. You can, you know, just more or less just scribble on the line. Alright, I'll run around the rest of it there and then start cutting. We'll just do a little bit here. I'm going to actually do it on the bigger bandsaw. As you can see, if you've watched any of the vids showing the smaller bandsaw, where I've got a table that sticks out a whole lot bigger and further, this doesn't have quite the same lip. But 1/4 inch is thick enough for this blade, so I'll give it a try on here just because it's different. Gotta make sure you shut off the coolant flow though. That's going to take a while, and in order to hold the saw down, I got to put my knee pad on so I can kneel on the saw so it doesn't move. Well, believe it or not, I'm going to fire up the plasma cutter. I haven't turned this thing on in quite a while. Crabby one. That was the last time he was down. We fired it up. It wasn't working, and I thought, well, let's clean it out just to see what happens. And took the top off, blew out all the dust, and started working again. So hopefully it's still working. I don't know. I've had this thing for a long time. 7 years at least, and I probably used it a dozen times or so. So anyway, we're going to play with this because it was taking quite a while to cut it on the bandsaw, and I thought, you know, I'll do it just to be different. First thing I'm going to do though here is get a grinding wheel, get myself a good ground. Good ground there. Let's see here. Cable goes to the other one, so instead of letting the ground go through there, I'm going to put the side with the cable actually on the good ground there. And this is a shade 5. It's a full face. You can get the top part here in clear and that stuff. You can just go down to the welding store and get the shade 5. Now I'm gonna fire it up briefly here just to see if it is still working. I've got it on about 45 amps. So 1/4 inch plate. We'll see whether or not it cuts. If it does, then I'll probably put on a long shirt and some better gloves maybe. Well, I made a pretty clean cut. Looks like 45 is pretty decent. Some slag on the bottom, but that ought to work. And this one does not have a drag tip. Okay, so part of the challenge with this one is I have to hold it up. I can't just put it down around a pattern and drag it. Well, let's see here. Let me get a different angle here. Well, let's see if I can hold a line at all. This is got to do it all freehand. There's no drag tip on it and that stuff. And if it starts spitting back at me too much, I'm going to have to get another shirt on and stuff like that. But we'll try a couple short runs here and see how it works. Gets warm, and I got to remember too to compensate for that angle so that I'm shooting straight down. I'm sitting here trying to hold it where it's comfortable, and I'm shooting at an angle. This one really doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be kind of close. And this is the one I said I wasn't going to cut, so I'm going to come around here and leave a little extra, I think. So certainly a lot faster and physically easier than the bandsaw. See that where it's kicking back up? I'm going too fast. There we go. And I think you can kind of see in there, I hope, just how far away I can get with the plasma once the arc's started. I have to touch it off to get it started, and then I can lift it up, and it shoots quite a bit. See that? I get up a good half an inch there. Of course, that makes the kerf really wide too. So, and I don't typically care to plunge down in because that's when it really spits back at you. But we'll start one here like that and see what happens. I didn't leave myself extra there like I was saying I would, so oh well. And kind of hard to see the black line sometimes doing it with bluing and scribing it or using the silver marker. That probably would have been a whole lot easier to see because the black Sharpie is shiny, so at some angles you get glare from the steel and the Sharpie at the same time, and you can't hardly see the difference between them. You got that shit blowing right back at me there. No, wait, this side I'm not cutting. All right, let's leave that there. Let's cut off a little extra. Let's see here. Yeah, we're at nearly 5 minutes. That's got to be kind of boring by now. Just because I have it fired up here, I'm going to play with this real quick. I still have an arc here to cut, but I kind of wanted to see if I could use this piece of aluminum as a straight edge. Yeah, I think my angle's off a little bit, but wow, and that picks up heat quick. A better glove would be nice. Let me find one of those. Alright, so that cut pretty straight. So you can see that, you know, if I had a template basically cut out in that shape, basically, you know, this thick, I could potentially just use the plasma cutter to slice those out. Thing is all the work it would take to create the template, I might as well put that time into the CAD work basically, or something else, and just send these off to get laser cut. Laser cutting comes out a whole lot nicer, a lot less work for me. Well, it dawned on me that I can't cut the arc this way, which is the comfortable way, because I've already put the heat here. So I'm gonna have to come at it from the other side and try to do it here. So, and I, you know, have a hard time with the whole, you know, I keep saying it doesn't need to be pretty, but you know, it sure would be nice if it was, but it's not. wide there at the end there because that's where I said I was going to put the extra metal on. So I'll get a pair of pliers and
cool it off.
All right. Aside from the fact it's not real pretty, you can see on the top side it's not bad here. You know, there's a little slag, dross, whatever the heck it's called. So anyway, that's the top side. Now the bottom side, you can see quite a bit more. Back on the top side here, see the heat affected zone? You know where it got thin right here? You know, I went real slow right through here, and you can see that there's quite a bit of heat there, but there's other spots where I went faster where, you know, there's hardly any heat. Now the thing is most of this stuff you could just chip off with a chisel. You know, you can just run around there. Let's see if I use a bigger chisel. That's like having the hammer built in, you know what I mean? Because the chisel has as much mass as that hammer does. So, I mainly want to get rid of the heavy stuff. Wow. That's that was pretty stout. Even with the big chisel, it's a little easier with the hammer. And with the little one, it's more isolated to just where you're at, so it doesn't go throwing your part around there as much. Okay, I think we'll move over to the grinder and clean it up a little bit. Alright, I'm going to put a better belt on here. This one's really worn out. I went and looked at the other old one, and it's worn out too. Now there is, at least on my belts, there is a directional arrow here. So I want that going down, direction of travel. So let's just go ahead and put a good one on here, and let's see how well it tracks. Notice I'm standing on this side, not that side, in case it walks off that direction. Yeah, I can feel the grit so high here, it shaved some of it off on the table there. So anyway, it's on, it tracked pretty nice, that's good to see. Let's see if we can clean this up just a little bit. Holy cow. It's getting so much crap off at me. I realized that my line is no longer existent, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get in there. I'll have to use a hand grinder or something. It's getting a bit warm. Let me cool it down here and I'll give you a better view. All right, I think you can. Oh man, I get grit thrown all over me now. Okay, so this is one of the smoother parts from the plasma cutter. Okay, you can see I've kind of already went around some of it here. So I'm gonna start here, and we'll see how fast this new one takes some of this metal off here for cleanup. This should be really, really friggin' hard because of the heat effect or whatever, hardening. Anyway. Wow, that's nice. Sweet. Good enough on that for sure. Beautiful. Close enough. Alright, I did a little grinding in there originally, what you saw. I'm still a little narrow, so I'm going to take it back over to the belt sander and grind those open just a little bit more, and then we'll see how. Then I got to start looking at drilling some holes. Alright, that's a little better. Now, you know, I got it a little wide there, just trying to hand hold it kind of thing, but that's perfectly fine. That gives me a little flex there, so alright, time to drill these holes. And God, you know this center one I just made? I think I just might trace a circle there, plasma cut that hole out, because I just need it close. I don't need it, I need these fairly close to hold it, but not that big center one. And hole sawing 1/4" steel is kind of a pain. Not that this is necessarily a accepted practice or technique, but I decided I didn't really feel like cutting the center out of the hole of the template in case I need that mark, make another one. So and I didn't have any other easy way to do it, so I thought, you know, I'll just give myself a ring there and connect the dots, because that's literally about all the closer it's going to be with the plasma cutter anyway. So now I'll turn the plasma cutter back on, chop that hole out, and go from there. Alright, we're going to cut that now. All I did here was I hit it on the sander to get myself a clean spot, and I'm just using the ground clamp as my clamp. So okay. Not pretty at all. Ask me if I care. Alright, so I'm using this is a double cut tapered carbide cutter. Anyway, I think I'm missing a couple teeth. It's starting to get kind of dull. It's got a 1/4" shank, just a cheap Harbor Freight die grinder. So I'm going to knock this down just a little bit, try to get that ball joint to fit a little bit better. And I got a full face shield on because this thing throws some freaking slivers. So it's one of the smaller grinders. It, man, I've got all over my arms now. So it doesn't have a huge amount of torque, but I got to go get a ball joint to stick in and out of there and find out whether or not I got enough clearance. Yeah, so this is the kind of stuff I should probably not show, but anyway, I'm not exactly sure quite what happened. The holes on the template are right. I can match them up to another piece that, you know, was drilled and everything like that. My centering, I mean, you can see on that one it's off a little bit, but it's fairly close. But you can see down in these holes, of course, these two are wrong this way, but this one should line up, and it doesn't. So I'm just gonna drill the holes out just a little bit more, that kind of thing, but oversize them a little bit. These two, I'm trying to match them up on here and that stuff. There's quite a bit off. They won't match up on the ball joint itself, so I'll have to play with that some. And I'm thinking I may change directions slightly with how I'm prototyping this. Instead of doing this in 1/4 inch, I'm half tempted to do one in tag board. If I go that route, I'll show it, but we'll see.